If there's one thing that this Everton season has taught us, it's that things can change just like that. And, well, against Burnley, we were able to show that or give it to our opposition by scoring 3 goals in 8 minutes. This game against Watford, we conceded 4 in the final 12, which is just, this performance was absolutely abysmal. Yeah, no words really. We're up 2-1, 78 minutes played. Game you need to win, especially with all the injuries. This is an opportunity. Didn't take it. Didn't take it at all. It was building, and you could sense it because we had made so many uncharacteristic mistakes for the majority of the match that went unpunished. And, they decided to punish us in the final 12 minutes, and it could have easily been more. There was a goal ruled offside. There was a ridiculous save by Jordan Pickford off the boot of Saba. It was pretty much a point-blank shot, and he somehow got a boot to it. So, yeah. But, Jordan Pickford was one of the victims today. And, it's a bit weird to say that given that we were responsible for our loss today. But Pickford was one of the victims of a really, really poor Everton defence, and Ben Godfrey and Michael Keane were absolutely shit. Absolutely shit. Just generally speaking, the amount of turnovers, loose touches, heavy touches that, went through. We're basically gifting goals to Watford on a platter in the final 15. But even the goals or shots that went unpunished, it was a result of us making shitty mistakes near our own box, leaving us exposed at the back, and basically leaving Watford open to take as many shots as they please. But there were numerous times where we'd commit to a challenge, or we'd drag 3 plays to a contest in the hope of winning it, a 3-on-1, but somehow Watford would be able to even that out. The one would win, it'd get out the back, and that's ultimately how it led to their 3rd goal, I believe. The 5th goal as well, I believe a couple got dragged in as well, and we weren't able to even that contest out, and it left, I think it was Dennis open for, another shot. Pickford the victim of that again. Nothing really could do about all the goals we conceded because of how open our defence was. Benitez has preached compactness in the back half, and it was very obvious that we were missing that today, by a long way. I'm crying out for Yerry Mina to be back, and obviously we know he's out. Even Holgate, I think Holgate was on the bench. Why didn't we use him? Gabaman is on the bench. Why didn't we use him? He's more defensively minded. Why didn't we use him? And that's not even talking about the front line. Rondon is an eyesore. We said it last week, and I'll say it again. He offers nothing. And Richarlison came on, and within 3 minutes, he had made more of an impact than Rondon had all month. For 4 weeks. 5 game weeks. No impact whatsoever. Didn't offer anything today either. And I think, part of that isn't his fault. Benitez should have sent him off. Should have taken him off. And unfortunately, Anthony Gordon, who is my man of the match today, let's just mention him for a second. He seemed very positive in his approach. He had a couple chances on goal that with a bit more experience, you're probably finishing those off. But yeah, he was putting himself in the right places. He was, sweeping across the pitch to make the extra pass, or a pass to turn something, or turn something into nothing, or nothing into something. Just really positive. And I think his energy is something we lacked all day. And even though he was, diving a few times, and diving's an art, he has not got that one right because he wasn't winning any fouls. Richarlison knows how to do that. Regardless of that, he was, it was a positive approach by him. And it really hurts when players that epitomise what Everton fans want, if you're going to get sent off for that, you're going to get taken off. That's just, it's within every Everton fan's right to be upset at that. Iwobi coming on, Richarlison coming on for Gordon instead of Rondon, is another negative move, ultimately, if you put it that way. Iwobi coming on for Gray. I mean, really, what has Iwobi shown to Benitez that he can offer on game day? Because he really did nothing last week either. I think he had a very, very empty stat line. A lot of zeros all over the place. And he, did nothing this time round. He comes on and we concede 4 times. So ultimately, it's not really his fault, but you get what I'm saying. These substitutions are not it. We go all the way back to our first and second goals, both off set pieces as well. Last week we conceded off a set piece. This week we conceded off a set piece. You'd think that they'd be honing in on that in training, because that's ultimately what lost us points last week. So you'd think to prevent it happening this week, you'd work on it in training. Well, obviously not, because those 2 goals ultimately, it wouldn't have mattered because we lost by 3, but those 2 goals were probably the ripple effect. The second goal was the ripple effect. Tom Davies, good start to the game. Obviously scored the goal. Really interesting, though, how we weren't able to replicate that for the majority of the match. I don't know where the drop-off can be attributed to. I think he had a really good game, given how everyone else played by everyone else's standards. But look, I think what ultimately stopped me from giving him man of the match is the fact that his stupidity, that loose ball, loose touch near our box, resulted in a corner, I believe, and that's what's kickstarted the chain, Those 4 goals. Absolutely devastating. I can't really believe this happened, to be honest. This is a pretty woeful loss. The way it happened as well, typical Everton way. This gives me flashbacks to when I think we were 3-1 up against Newcastle at home and end up drawing 3-3 after conceding twice in stoppage time. It gives me that vibe. I think this is worse, though. And also when you add that up with Josh King scoring a hat-trick against the club that he didn't score once in 11 appearances. The fact he was able to do that against us just hurts even more. Another stab to the heart. But we've got Wolves next week. We need players back. And if not, Rafa needs to make changes, because the personnel he brought in this time round or decided to alter throughout the game, it wasn't it. He's shown very good tactics for the majority of the season. The last 2 weeks, though, it's been a bit questionable. Iwobi involvement, Rondon sticking with him even though he does nothing. Offensively, defensively, he doesn't get in the right spaces. When he does, he's a bit slow on it. And that's expected with age, but I don't know what we expected, really. But yeah, I'm hoping to see a full 90 from Richarlison, no holding back. And I think one more thing we should mention with Ben Godfrey, we said this last week, he doesn't have the height, and obviously he played much better in a right-back position last year. I'm not sure where the best place is for him, because a couple times from corners, he's been beaten because he's too short. The ball has gotten over his head, and it's left a Watford player uncovered to have a shot, and we've been punished both times. So I don't know what the alteration is going to be, but that's got to be considered. Where is Godfrey going to play? Regardless, we've got to get to work. We're a fair way off the pace at the moment, especially against the top teams. We've got Wolves next week. We are going to get punished. Jimenez is going to have a field day. Hwang Hee-chan is going to have a field day because he is quick, and Keane and Godfrey cannot cope with that. Godfrey's got a bit of pace, but Michael Keane also has had a bit of a stinker. He's been shaky all year. So, yeah, I'm hoping for change, but regardless, I think we're going to see some more problems at Molineux. I've read in so many places, us constantly playing down to opponents. This game we should have been controlling possession. We should have been dictating the game. We should have had more shots. We should have basically bossed it. But unfortunately, we didn't take the chances. We decided to play a bit more passive. And ultimately, we got absolutely killed on the counter because we did all this build-up. Nothing happened with it. Watford on the break, you know, they were able to even out situations where they were outnumbered and thus have open men running into space and, you know, open shots on goal. So we've got ourselves to blame for this. 5 goals is just absolutely diabolical. Rafa's got to step up his game because, yeah, last 2 weeks have been an absolute stinker by him. Then again, what can you say? This is a typical Everton performance, you know, giving your team hope in the first few weeks of the season and then letting yourselves down with absolutely shit-house performances like this. But all Everton fans, thank you for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the show, and we will be doing these every week, so make sure to subscribe if you want to stay tuned for that. But that is all for me. I will see you in the next video / live stream because we are very active at the moment. Plenty of games going on. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.